channel. Today's video is going to be kind of a fish room update. As you can see, there's lots of fish and stuff. All the tanks have water now, so we're going to do a little just update on everything and moving some fish around. There's some fish in here that are going to be moving. So we're gonna get straight into it. Start, cleaning tanks, doing water changes, and moving fish around. So stay tuned. Okay, so as far as the update goes, you can see every tank now has water in it, and almost all of them have fish. Only that tank here doesn't, this tank doesn't, and this tank doesn't. So as you can see now, this tank is full. So this tank, the original tank that was here, had a hole drilled on the side there, which is this tank right here. Don't mind the mess here, but you can see it's got a hole drill on the side. That tank ended up getting replaced with a new 40-gallon. Got this off of somebody that is not drilled. So this tank, basically brand new, holds water. You can see I've got my aeration in there. This tank as well also got filled up. These are just some plants here. I've got a mother Amazon sword, some Java ferns, Cripwenti greens, and a bunch of runners Amazon swords. This tank here is probably the most noticeable difference in the fish room. There are a couple, I would say easily like 150 plus albino cories in here, as well as maybe 50 or so, as you can see in there, Perstilla tetras. The cories have been breeding like crazy. You can see the eggs all over back there. You see on the intake tube up there, over there. But yeah, so these fish, as well as some of the fish over here in this tank, I will go to that one in a little bit, came from somebody who was shutting down their fish room, and a bunch of their tanks, they had a lot of big tanks, they were moving, so they were getting rid of their fish for relatively cheap, very cheap actually, and they just wanted to make sure that they went to a good home. So thankfully I was able to pick them up for a relatively decent price. Got a bunch in here, that I will be able to spread around throughout the tanks and stuff like that. So yeah, I got all these cories, the Perstilla tetras, these plants here, as well as over here. Oh, there is a breeding pair of koi angelfish. This one here, I believe, is the female. She is pearl scale. This one is the male. As well as, I don't know if you can see, but in those pleco caves there's a tail there, and there's a tail there. So I've got two regular brown bristlenose plecos. They are monsters of bristlenose plecos. They're huge. Along with the cories laying eggs, you can kind of see here on that leaf, they're fungused over right now, but the angels laid eggs there as well. So I ended up putting this slate in here so that they can use that to lay the next time they lay. I would like to get, a spawn out of these guys and maybe raise them and, be able to bring them to my fish clubs and auctions and stuff like that. So that'd be pretty cool. And then this tank here, so this tank actually has some rare fish in it. These are pencil fish. I believe it's an Ananastoma Senepa, if I'm not mistaken, but these are the super reds. I got these from the same buddy of mine that I got these guys from, which are my Autumn Angels, as well as, sorry, there's algae on the tank, my gold laser cories. So the fish in these two tanks came from the same person, buddy of mine in Queens. He hooked me up with these guys, and as you can see, there are some just absolute beautiful males in here. They are super bright red, and again, this is unpainted tank, non-scaped, nothing, so you can only imagine how brightly colored they'll be once they go into a scaped tank. But besides that, those are really the new fish in the fish room. Actually, I lied. So here in this tank, in the middle tank, I had some cardinal tetras in here. Unfortunately, I had a really bad ick outbreak, lost all of them, really sucked, so I took the tank down, started it over. And then at my fish club meeting, which was just this last Thursday, I got myself these pretty cool little double sword tail guppy endler things. There's already some babies in here. You can see one of them right there. Oh, it just kind of swam away, but you see it there. There's already babies in here, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, but that's really much it. What's new in the fish room. And I know I haven't done a full like tank tour of everything in here. I will do that as soon as I get some fish moved around and stuff like that. I just want to kind of get things situated in their place before I go about doing the full, you know, fish room tank tour and stuff like that. And I will do a tank tour of my planted tanks upstairs as well. That'll be a video on its own. In today's video though, Ultims are going to be going in here, as well as the gold laser cories that are in there, and as well as the fish in here. So in this tank, you can see I've got some pretty small white cloud mountain minnows, one gold one. There are also some smaller gold laser cories that are in the background. These guys are super, super skittish. So I'm hoping that with the help of these bigger ones that aren't as skittish, they'll be a little more, you know, used to being outside of just hiding. And then there's also in this driftwood here, some L397 King Tiger Alenker plecos, excuse me. All of these fish in these two tanks will be going into that 40 breeder over there. That way I can move I don't know if I'm gonna move the angels along with the plants and stuff like that up into these tanks, or if I'm gonna move the plecos. I may just put the two plecos into one tank here and the angels into another tank. That way I can have them at a better viewing angle. But yeah, that's what we're gonna get into today, as well as just regular maintenance, water changes on most of the tanks here. I may not do a water change on this tank here. You may see right there, I've got some L236 super whites and super yellows. And I think these guys are trying to spawn I believe that may be a female in front of the cave. There's definitely a male in the cave, so I don't really want to disturb them too much. I may just do a smaller cool water change to kind of trigger some spawning. But yeah, that tank might get left alone for now. But the rest of the tanks, at least, you know, like the ones with fish in them, we'll get some water changes done. So let's get right to the water changes. Also, another little fish room update. So I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I finally was actually able to make use of my water change valves here on this tank here. I just have to kind of get underneath here and I can, you know, hook everything up. I just got the valve pointing straight down and then the hose goes out across. And then today, I actually bought myself a little lounging chair. Something small, I can fold it up here, plop it right in front of a tank and just watch my fish. I didn't have a chair in here before, so I would legit just have to come and sit on the floor or just stand up and watch the fish, which, you know, I didn't mind doing, but it's always nice to be able to sit down and watch your fish. This cory tank is going to be getting a water change first since it has such a sheer number of fish in there. Then I'll probably be going to this tank here. Maybe simultaneously we'll do a water change on the goldfish tank, and yeah, let's go. Guys, so it has been a little bit later. I have been able to move some of the fish, water change. So as you can see, the 220 gallons up here, this one that had the white cloud mountain minnows and the cories and plecos, and then this one with the cories and angels. All of those guys are over here, at least the cories, the angels, and the plecos. They are all in here. You can see them scurrying around in there. All the white cloud mountain minnows, the babies, I put in here with the other white cloud mountain minnows that I had, just to up the school, the numbers and stuff like that, and get them a little more comfortable with being in, you know, these larger schools and stuff. And so these two, they're kind of dirty right now, but I am thinking about possibly moving the pair of angels from down there to up here, just so that they can get a tank of their own and be able to spawn in. I can try to raise the babies and stuff like that. And then that way, these two monstrous plecos down here, you can kind of see them sticking out of the caves there. That way they won't harass the angelfish or the eggs or anything like that. I can try to get them, you know, to actually spawn. So yeah, right now I'm working on just filling up this tank right here. Sorry for the glare from the outside, but you can see here, you see some of the baby white cloud mountain minnows along with the bigger adults in there. Definitely did increase the numbers a lot more, so I'm hoping that they're a lot more comfortable now and, you know, more lively in there. These guys are looking great in here. Again, sorry for the glare. Tank is a little hazy. I did use old tank water along with new tank water, or new water from the water change system. You can see I've got plenty of cories in here. I think with both of the 20 gallons that I had over there, I now have probably over 30 of them in here, or close to 30, which is awesome. I love these gold lasers. They are probably one of my favorite cories that I own. But yeah, I think, you know, after I've finished with the water changes and stuff, I will more than likely do just a quick tank tour now, just because not every tank is full. I don't have that many fish down here. So I'll get to that as soon as this tank finishes filling up, and then these two are filled up as well. Okay guys, now everything is full. So I guess we can get into this tank tour. Or the fish room tour, tank tour, whatever you want to call it. So we will start here on my little quarantine rack. So this is a little rack that I had from when I was in my apartment that was holding my 40-gallon that I was breeding my lemons. This tank actually specifically was on this rack here. But now it holds 3 10-gallons as my quarantine / grow out rack. So this little tank here and this little bucket here, actually, let me move this out of the way. Sorry about that. So as you can see here, this is live blackworms. These guys I had just had here on the side as my feeding ones. And then in here, I'm not sure if you can see kind of floating around there. You can see kind of like in front of the pump here. There's actually Daphnia in this tank, just jittering around there. But in the substrate, you can see my live blackworms. Let me kind of lift up the filter and you'll be able to see. There they are, floating around there. I use this to, you know, supplement feeding, give some extra protein to a lot of my fish. But yeah, that's pretty much that tank. Simple little tank, small aquarium co-op, sponge filter in there, and that's it. This tank I treat it like a regular tank. I do water changes on it. I do stir the substrate around to get, you know, the blackworms kind of breeding a little bit more, because, you know, blackworms, you cut them in half, you basically have 2 blackworms now. So I kind of do that just to get the population increased in there. This first 10-gallon here, this is a 10-gallon. Again, everything is ran by sponge filters in the fish room, so you'll see the sponge filters and the heaters in the back of the tanks. But as you can see here, I've got 2 Bulgarian green seal point angelfish, I believe they are. I got these at my fish club. I had 4. I did unfortunately lose 2 of them. As well as in this tank, I've got, you can see there, lemon blue-eye bristlenose plecos. I believe I have 4 here in the corner, and on, you can actually see in the reflection of the glass there. But I have 3 calico bristlenose plecos. The one that's in the uplift tube is a long fin calico. And let me kind of move to the side over here. Sorry about this. Then right there, you can see that is a snow white bristlenose pleco. So there should be 2 of those guys in here. I don't see the second one right now. Sorry, showing you guys the stand. Don't see the second one, but definitely should. It's the same one, the bigger one. There should be a smaller one in here somewhere. Where is that little guy? I see back here. I think that may be it. I don't know where he is, but there should be 2 of them in there. I'm gonna have to look around and see. Let me just take a look real quick. Hold on 1 second, guys. Well, as you can see, I stirred up the tank. Unfortunately, I can't find the smaller of the 2 snow whites, so that one may have passed. Not too sure. There's the bigger one on the glass back there. These guys, there's some calicos and lemons over here. So I don't know where that second snow white is. That's kind of sad. I may have to invest and get a couple more, because I really do like the snow whites. They're actually pretty nice. But yeah, that's pretty much for this tank. Oh, sorry guys. This 10-gallon here. Oh, and also plant-wise in here, I just have water, mini water lettuce and floating Salvinia minima in there. This tank has anacris, and this is actually Salvinia cuculata, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how you pronounce it. As well as some anacris in here. This one does have a piece of driftwood here. And these guys are actually I just recently got these at my meeting. I mentioned that before. These are some like pretty cool looking guppy endlers. I don't know exactly what they are, but some of them, or a majority of them, have what's it called? Twin sword tails. They have a nice little blue body with like an orangish pinkish finnage, high fin, or the high dorsal fins, pretty nice. When I put them in here, I guess due to the stress, the females, one of them at least dropped fry. So there are some fries swimming around in here, which is pretty cool. I already got myself the first spawn out of these guys. I do want to kind of try to line breed. As you can see, this little guy right here doesn't have the twin swords, so I kind of want to separate him because I would like to keep like that guy right there. That one's beautiful. I would like to keep that twin sword look. Would be pretty cool to work on that and actually selectively breed some guppies. I've never actually done that. As crazy as that sounds, most of the guppies that I've always had were just mutt guppies. So fun little project I'm gonna be working on, getting these twin tail, sword tail guppies going. And then the last tank over here on the quarantine grow rack, this is my tank with, you can see them under the sponge filter there. Those are my baby leopard frog plecos, and there should be, is there any in here? You can kind of see through in there, but there should be roughly, I believe, like 20 to 25 of them in here. I didn't count them exactly, but they are in there. They're doing great. They hide a lot, which sucks because they're beautiful plecos. I'd love to see them a little bit more. But yeah, that's what's in here, as well as some floating anacris. I'm gonna see if maybe I can get a shot under the sponge filter because the tanks are bare bottom. So let me see if I can get a shot under there so you guys can see what's going on under there. All right, so we are under the tank now. You can kind of sort of see the leopard frog babies under there, but it is kind of tough. But I mean, you can see they're definitely in there, so yeah. All right, now for the 40 gallon / 65 gallon rack, we'll start over here. Start in this bottom corner. So this tank here has probably one of my prized fish, which is my L237 super white / super yellows. So I do have a few in the caves here. You can kind of see there's a super white right there. This one is a super yellow. There's another super white. Sorry for the reflection right back there under the sponge filter. There's 8 of them in this tank. I don't know the male to female ratio. I just know I bought them and I wanted them. I got them. They were kind of pricey, but definitely worth the investment. These guys are absolutely gorgeous fish. As well as some rainbows in here. I actually got these guys from the second fish club that I'm in, the Danbury Area Aquarium Society, for a grow out contest actually. They're getting judged this upcoming meeting, which is in it's September, the 4th Friday of this September, which you can see right there some of my 236s scuffling back there. But yeah, they're getting judged this weekend, you know, to see who had the biggest and nicest fish. Mine didn't grow too big, but it is what it is. I'm, you know, really happy with these guys. They're really pretty. As well as in this tank, you can see right here, it's either a duplicarius or a Dolphi Cory. I'm not exactly too sure. I believe I have 6 of them in here. You can see the other ones, they're just chilling out right there. As well as some black Schultzi Cories, I believe these guys are. There should be 5 or 6 as well. There's another one back there. These guys are actually pretty big. They've gotten pretty chunky in this tank. Then, you know, just caves, driftwood, anubias, java fern, and this is actually some needle leaf java fern. I'm sorry, the java moss. Needle leaf java fern that I glued to some rocks, just threw it in here, try to get it to grow, because I haven't had needle leaf. I do have regular, but I want to see how that is. And again, aquarium co-op sponge filter, and then cheap little Amazon filter. Going to be replacing all of my sponge filters for the aquarium co-op ones with the uplift tubes. Moving on up, this tank is the one that I just set up. That's why there's bubbles all over the tank. But this one, you can kind of see right in there, the little plecos. I have 6 L397 Tiger Allinger plecos, as well as roughly 30-ish gold laser cories. There are some in here that I don't believe are gold lasers. I think they may be orange lasers. They just have very slight, subtle color differences from the other ones. I don't know if they're either orange lasers or if they're just not high quality gold lasers, but we'll see as they grow out. And then the showpiece fish in these tanks are the 8 little Ultim Angels that I have growing here, as well as actually there's one little Epistogramma back there. You can kind of see them. But these Ultim Angels were another one of my kind of like holy grail fish. Again, the same, I got these from my buddy in Queens, Alex. Actually, sorry, side note, you can kind of see there the difference. That one little guy right there is different from the rest of them. So again, I don't know if it's just not as high quality gold lasers, or if it is a different laser Cory, maybe an orange laser or red laser. I'm not too sure, but pretty nonetheless. But yeah, my Ultim Angels here, you can see here there's 8 little guys. Bodies are maybe a little bit bigger than quarter size, but with the fins they're easily, you know, 3 inches, some maybe a little bit bigger than that. And that's pretty much it. You know, Anubias glued on rocks, a little bit of Java moss on the little brick there, driftwood and sponge filters heater, blah, blah, blah. This tank here, this is my goldfish tank, my fancy goldfish tank. So there are 6 fancy goldfish in here. These 2, the bigger ones, I actually had in my old fish room before I had to tear it down when I moved into my apartment. I ended up giving them to my mother in a 40-gallon. She kept those 2 along with a pair of lemon blue-eyed plecos, and the plecos actually bred at my parents' house. And then once I bought the house, my mom, she didn't want to upkeep with the tank anymore, so she said I can have them back. I took them back, put them in a 40. Ended up getting them 1, 2, 3, and 4 little buddies there. Another extra 4 fancy goldfish. Quick little escape I did here, just threw some rocks, Java fern, and a few little pebbles and stones with some black gravel. This tank is running the, I believe it's a Seachem Title. I don't remember exactly which model, but it is a Seachem Title. I actually have to turn that back on. I just did the water change. I didn't realize I didn't turn it on, but it's the only tank with a filter just because goldfish do poop so much. They do produce a lot of waste. So I wanted to be sure I could actually get that waste out of the tank. So the filter is actually kind of just jam-packed. It has some biomedia in there, as well as filter media, a sponge filter media to be able to filter out all the poop particles. But that's pretty much all that's in this tank. I was thinking about maybe throwing a bristlenose pleco in there, maybe one of the big brown ones that I picked up from the person that shut down their fish tanks. Put it in here just so I can have, a little bit of a maintenance guy in here and just add another extra fish in here. Okay, so as you can see back there, I did close the shades on my sliding door and turned off the plant grow light that I had. Should have did that from the get-go, but it is what it is. This tank here is one of my breeding tanks, or was a breeding tank of mine. I've got my lemon blue-eyed bristlenose plecos in here. There's 2 adult males from separate lineages, as well as a few babies on the back scattered there on the walls you can see. I did unfortunately lose my female, which was a pretty large female. I don't know exactly what happened. I believe there might be something going on with this tank because I did also lose my male swordtail that you can see. So I have a female koi swordtail back there and a couple of babies mixed in here. They're kind of scattered all over the place, but yeah, I don't know what's going on. I did lose the male swordtail as well as my female lemon blue-eyed, which sucks because they my nice, big breeding female and male. But it's okay. I've got a few of their babies, so I'm going to continue to grow these guys out. And then I do also have the lemons that are in that tank, but I may keep these as a separate line and then maybe take some of these guys and some of these guys, mix them in a tank, mix the bloodlines together so I can have stronger genetic fish. Again, there's also the koi swordtails in there and the white cloud mountain minnows, as well as a boatload of ram's horn snails. They're all over the place. I do have assassin snails in here to take care of that. I do not like snails. I know they're beneficial, but I don't like them, especially when they're overrunning a tank. That's pretty much what's going on in here. And then down here, clearly, albino cories out the wazoo. There's again easily 100 to 150, maybe more of them in there. So this tank does get water changes every other day, and I'm talking huge water changes, like all the way down. I only leave maybe like 2 to 3 inches of water. There's also 3 pretty massive, you can see here, let me sit down, mystery snails. There's 1, 2, and 3. They are very large. Came from the same person. Never had mystery snails. I also got up there, you see some guppies. This female guppy, and then there's a male guppy back there behind the bubbles. You can kind of see him. Come on, focus. Get out of the bubbles, guppy. Well, yeah, he's back there. So male and female guppy, pretty cool. And that's pretty much all that's in this tank. The albino cories, the Pristilla tetras. There's actually 2 albino Pristilla tetras. You can see one of them right there, and then the other little guy right there. So there's 2. It's pretty cool. On to the next. So the next tanks are here, are on the 20-gallon rack. There's really only now 3 tanks on this rack that have fish in it. This one here, like I mentioned before, my Nanostoma senepi, I believe they are. I'm probably butchering that name, but they're the super red variety, a super red pencil fish. Super pretty guys. You can see some of the males here. Like I believe that's the males. The males are the ones that get the more bright red, if I'm not mistaken. Look at that guy right there. Wow. Yeah, so that's all that's in this tank. I am gonna eventually move them into another tank. I would like to maybe put these in my 75-gallon that's upstairs as my display, but I might keep them down here to try to breed them. I know I do want to get them into the painted tank. These 4 tanks, I do have to paint the backgrounds in the bottom, so there's going to be some fish shuffling to do while I do those. And then these 2 at the bottom actually need, see right here, a layer of styrofoam insulation to just help with the tank balancing on the wood and stuff like that, just to avoid any uneven surfaces. Just me, I like to do that as a precautionary thing. And actually in this tank here with the Nanostoma, there's this little mystery tetra. I don't know what it is. I asked my buddy who I got these guys from what it could be. He said he had no idea. He didn't even know that this guy was in the tank with them. So I guess we're just gonna grow this little tetra out. It's probably, I'm pretty sure it's a rare tetra. My buddy imported these guys from overseas. I believe it was Colombia, if I'm not mistaken, or Brazil. I'm not exactly too sure, but could be a pretty rare little tetra. I don't know. Pretty cool guys. This other 20-gallon here has 3 discus in here. You can see there's 2 orange yellow ones and then this like kind of bluish reddish leopard looking guy. I got these guys from Danbury Aquarium and Supplies in Danbury, Connecticut. I went to their soft opening over at their new location, got these guys for a pretty good deal. They're doing great, eating great, looking good. They've got maybe another week or 2 for quarantine, and then they will be joining my discus upstairs in my 75-gallon. And then the last 20-gallon here with fish in it is more fish that I got from the person closing down their fish room. Again, male and female proven pair of koi angelfish. The female here is pearl scale. And then I have 1 big male pleco here, bristlenose, and another one in that cave, as well as just a bunch of anubias and some floating stem plants that I have in there for now. Plan is to take the pair of angels and move them to one of the upper 20 gallons that is painted, where the let's see, these guys up here, sorry for the glare, but one of these 2, I'm not too sure which one, but they will be going into one of those as along with this piece of slate here, so they can breed. Because as you can see, this female is feisty. They actually have eggs on that leaf right there. You can kind of see here the eggs did fungus over, so they're not viable, but I do want to give them a shot at breeding again in a tank of their own, and then possibly even take the eggs. I do need to, get myself a brine shrimp hatchery and some brine shrimp eggs and stuff like that. I'm gonna go ahead and more than likely get them from Aquarium Co-op's website. But yeah, I mean, the goal in the fish room is to try to breed as many fish as I can. Just because I really do enjoy keeping fish and breeding and just seeing all the different fish that I have and stuff like that, raising babies and all that. So I would definitely like to breed these koi angels. They are very, very pretty. And then same thing with the Nanostoma here. I would like to breed them. Honestly, everything in here I would like to breed. But again, angels down here, possibly moved up to this tank. The bristlenose plecos may stay in there. I might just take one of these guys and put them, boom, right in there with the goldfish, just so you can take care of that brown diatom algae and stuff like that. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the fish room update / tank tour. Obviously I will be getting more fish in the near future. I've got my Danbury Area Aquarium Society meeting is actually this upcoming Friday, and then next month on October 13th, I believe it's a Sunday, there is the Norwalk Aquarium Society. It's one of their annual auctions, so I'm pretty excited. I'm more than likely going to be bringing some of these cories to the auction. I'm going to be bringing some of these plants to the auction, and I may also bring the 2 Bulgarian green seal point angels in there to the auction, just because I don't necessarily know if they're a male-female pair. I don't really want to work with too many angels. I've got the proven pair there, so I wouldn't mind working with there because they are a proven pair. I can breed them relatively easily, or I hope I can. Yeah, and then I do just want to get rid of some of these plants because there's a lot of like heavy root feeding plants, Amazon swords and stuff like that in there. This tank is empty, by the way, that tank, and then these 2 up there, so there's nothing in those tanks. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the fish room update. I did end up actually setting up my little chair here so you guys can see here. I just gotta pop this into place here. Now I've got a nice little lounging chair to sit around, watch my tanks, just chill down here. I can bring my son down here. We can both sit here. My son's 10 weeks old today actually. So we can both sit down here and just look at the fish. He does actually enjoy looking at fish with me, so it's pretty cool. I get to enjoy the hobby with my son. But yeah, that's it for the video. If you enjoyed, hit that thumbs up button, comment, subscribe, you know, stay tuned, and just comment any video suggestions, what you guys want to see. If there's anything, you know, you want to see more in-depth questions, you know, I'm more than willing to help you answer any questions. But I'm rambling now. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and hope you enjoyed.